this teaching module is how to make an effective writing assignment. Here are some learning outcomes that you should be able to understand at the end of this module. First is to discern effective writing assignments from ineffective writing assignments. Secondly, to recognize that effective writing assignments should have a defined purpose. And third, to be able to effectuate relevant writing assignments that address specific audiences. The first thing we're going to talk about would be assignments with a purpose. Every writing assignment needs to have a purpose, and it should engage students in purposeful writing. They can include timely situations that are relevant to the writer, current events, other topics of interest to the writer, and it should teach them how to write so they will be proficient when they get out into a career and have to write. Employers expect proficient writing from their employees, and college writing should be able to produce that. Also, with assignments with a purpose, if students can be a part of developing the writing assignment, then they have ownership in the writing assignment, and they will be more apt to write and be excited about what they're writing about. In addition to writing with a purpose, assignments should also develop critical thinking. Writing helps students improve their critical thinking skills. As they research and as they develop their thought process, as they write, they are engaging in critical thinking. And as a reader, I should be engaged in critical thinking as I'm reading whatever that writer has to say, if it's written well. With critical thinking, the reader will ask, is it interesting? Sometimes with communication, the reader will ask, is it clear? And you don't want it to just be clear, but you want it to be interesting and exciting. I like to read interesting and excited. And then thirdly, assignments should focus on a specific audience, or at least you should have that in mind when you're assigning effective writing assignments. So it would be a good idea to have your students practice writing to specific audiences, such as a government official if you're writing a persuasive letter, or maybe the writing assignment is just for the teacher, or for the student's peers, or a specific age group. Writing should move from what the writer thinks and feels toward empathy for what the reader needs to hear and what will captivate their attention. Be cognizant of what your audience does not know. You cannot assume that they know what you know. So if you are writing about a mechanical process, you cannot assume that the writer understands mechanical processes. You would have to fill in the gaps with information so there isn't an informational gap there and you've lost your reader. There are other writing assignment engagements. One includes a story that I read about a teacher who wrote a letter to her father who had passed away recently, recapping memories that she had as well as just things she loved about her father. And then she gave that to her students to be able to critique. And that made that teacher very vulnerable because that was something very personal and dear to her. And now all of a sudden you have someone critiquing what you're writing. And that gave her more empathy and compassion toward when she goes to critique her own students' writing, knowing that what they write about might be just as personal to them. So also, as you're engaging effective writing assignments, you want to understand the expectations of the assignment. Is it worth doing? Is there a purpose to it? Is it interesting and appropriate? What do you specifically want to teach through that writing assignment? Purpose, audience, tone, voice. Is it relevant in and out of the classroom? Because it should not be just relevant in the classroom, but it also needs to be relevant in real-world events. And what is being assessed through this writing process? Some ineffective writing assignments would include, can it be answered with a yes or no answer? You know, that's just not okay. Too broad or general, there's no focused analysis. Too many embedded questions. Embedded questions are questions within questions. Too many questions overwhelms the writer. Also, asking students to divulge information or experiences that are too personal. First-year writing students, as they become more comfortable with you and with the class, they will become more personal in their writing, but you cannot expect that right from the start. All right, there's an activity that we're going to do, and I'm going to give you a writing prompt that is a poor writing prompt. And I want you to discuss how you think you could make it a better prompt. Tell about someone important in your life. What could you do to make that better?
You could maybe have a family member who served like in the service or something like that.
Okay. Anything else?
Maybe tell why they're so important in your life, what they've done to help you maybe achieve some goals or influence you.
Sure, that's excellent. So what I came up with was tell about someone who is or has been important in your life. Share details about how they've influenced and inspired you to be a better person. Second prompt would be describe your favorite place. How would you make that better?
I think you need to be very descriptive if you're describing your favorite place. I mean, everybody likes maybe, I don't know, Disney World, but if you want to describe something, I don't know, a scene or something, make them feel there.
Okay, descriptive. Excellent. So when you describe a favorite place, it might be a place that not many people know about. And so you should include such detail that the reader will feel as though they are really there. You want to take your reader with you on your journey. I really enjoy Steve Jobs. He inspires me, and I enjoy listening to him. So if this is a motivational video, it's like a one and a half minute video. And so this would be a good writing assignment for your students to watch the video and then take 10 minutes and just do a expository free writing exercise reacting to his speech. And you might ask them which aspects of his speech do you agree with, and how can you incorporate those ideologies as you make decisions about your future? And are there parts of his speech that maybe you don't agree with?
The only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. Sometimes life's going to hit you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. I'm convinced that the only thing that kept me going was that I loved what I did. You've got to find what you love. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path, and that will make all the difference. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary.
It's shorter and shorter.
Okay.
It was like 8 minutes.